anywhere.
87.7 FM live outside broadcast.
You are now listening to 5 Minutes with KCM, the segment that takes an inside look into the operations of Konkola Copper Mines. KCM, Zambia's largest integrated copper producer. KCM is a subsidiary of Vedanta Resources PLC. Good morning. Welcome to 5 Minutes with KCM. Actually, today we're having 10 minutes with KCM, sponsored by Konkola Copper Mines. Now, the last 12 weeks we have been looking at various aspects of one of the largest copper mines in Africa. Now, today we are broadcasting the last show in this series, and this will basically be an overview of most of the elements we have discussed on this show. Now, the show is dubbed 5 Minutes with KCM, and today, however, we are pleased to let you know that we're actually having 10 minutes with KCM. And to wrap up this series, I have once again the pleasure of speaking with the CEO of KCM, and this is Mr. Stephen Din. Good morning, Mr. Din, and welcome to the program. It's good to have you on again.
Yes, good morning, Hope. Great to speak to you again, and good morning to all our listeners.
All right. Now, the last 12 weeks have been actually been enlightening for me, and I'm sure our listeners regarding the operations of Konkola Copper Mines. Now, can you briefly recap on some major issues that we have discussed on the show?
Yes, of course, I'd love to do that. But let me start off, first of all, by thanking you and Hot FM for hosting us during these last 12 weeks. And also to all of our listeners, and we've had a number of comments and feedback from people who have been hearing the show. So that we hope that we've managed to enlighten people about some of the ongoings within KCM. Now, one of the major issues that we talked about on the program, which we are very passionate about, is safety. Mm-hmm. Safety is an integral part of our business, particularly that people who work for our particularly because the people who work in our company are very much the first priority of everything that we do. So we've put in place a number of measures to try to work towards what you may have heard dubbed as a zero harm culture. Now, what that means is that we want everybody who comes to our mine, whether it's a worker or whether it's a visitor, to return home safely. So safety is very important for us, and our ethos that we follow very strictly here, Hope, is if it's not safe, you don't do it.
Lovely. All right, now I recall that in line with the same safety measures, you went on to launch an initiative called Chingilila. How's this going?
Yes, it's actually going very well. So just to recap for our listeners, on the 10th of October, we were honoured by the Minister of Mines, who came and helped us launch the Chingilila initiative, which basically has two pillars. The first of which is safety, to make sure that each of our employees is protected in a physical manner, but more importantly, that we also try to protect the company. So we launched a continuous improvement program where we basically asked all of our employees to think about ways of how we can improve the way that we do things. So, for example, it might be quite simply that there's a particular tap leaking which is costing the company a lot of money, or it may be a different way of doing a particular job. So, we try to, as part of this initiative, coax the employees to let us have their ideas for continuous improvement. I'm proud to say, Hope, that as of yesterday, when I took a review of the output, we have 400 ideas, okay, which have come through as a result of this process. And I'm hoping that, the business is going to get a lot of benefit out of this, at which point, we continue to protect KCM. But more importantly, I'm hoping that this is a lead-on to how we actually grow innovation and the use of technology in our business, because we've very much got to be at the forefront of that. Mm-hmm. There's always plenty of ore body left, but it always gets harder to get the next bit. So it's very important that we're at the front of technology and innovation to be able to get those next bits in an efficient manner.
Well, that's a good summary. Now, I also know that we looked at your company's corporate social responsibility and training and education. What do you have to say about that in just wrapping it up?
Yeah, just, very briefly, Hope. I mean, I don't think that I'm speaking out of turn when I say KCM has probably one of the best CSR programs in Zambia. And I've seen a number of other CSR programs across different parts of the world, and I can seriously say that, what we do here is excellent. However, there's always room for improvement. And one of the things that we're focusing at the moment is just looking to see, what are the pillars, what are the areas of the community which we're actually trying to improve. For now, we still have health, education, sport, and rural livelihood as our main pillars, but I'm hoping that we can add a few others there, which would include, for example, human rights and maybe some more focus on the girl, child, and women's rights as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, we also talked about education. We deeply touched on it and exactly what you're doing as KCM in that area. And I remember very well we had a wonderful interview with a couple of young graduates who had been to India, which you actually paid for as KCM. What do you have to say about that?
Well, you're right. I mean, those graduates, I think 2 of the graduates who came to see you were 2 of the 9 graduates who I managed to meet as they all came back from India. And the amount of energy that these graduates, after coming back from a foreign assignment, if you like, and a lot of them are young, I mean, we had a lot of discussion about how they actually adapted to the different food, etc. And look, we had some laughs, to be honest. But one of the things about our graduates is they are full of energy. They come back with ideas. And I'm very proud that we've got, over 60 individual students at the moment who are benefiting from KCM sponsorships, either in Namibia doing medicine, or in India doing various education, or even in Pretoria, doing other engineering courses as well. And on top of that, we do run 4 trust schools, and we also touch the lives of 2,100 other students as well. So once again, we can only improve, but at the moment I think we're doing our best towards supporting education in the area.
And well, we just have to commend you as KCM for that. I mean, there's so many youths who would love to be part of that experience. Now, let's get into some deep business talk right now. Let's now turn to current business challenges which you may be facing as KCM. We're now aware that the impact of the low copper prices and obviously other factors here at home have resulted in job losses. How are you dealing with that as a company?
No, thank you, Hope. I mean, we can't ignore it. We have to talk about it. Now, in the same way that other companies are working in a challenging environment at the moment, KCM is as well. And we're affected really by 2 things. And the first one is where the copper price is sitting at the moment. I mean, I looked at it yesterday and it was at 4,500. And that's compounded by the fact that we're really having to work very hard to manage the shortage of power, or shortage of affordable power, which we have available for our operation. However, our hearts are not sinking. I mean, we are very positive and very motivated, not only as a management team, but also within the workforce to come out of this. And one of the things that, we've been identifying is across the business, do we actually have some non-performing assets? And we did identify one, which is the Nchanga Underground, which unfortunately has been not performing for many, many years now. And that's mainly because the ore body is at the end of its life. So we really need to go away, do some more drilling and exploration to see how we can go back in a more efficient way. So we have put that Nchanga Underground on care and maintenance about a week ago. And that's the managed care and maintenance, where basically we continue to pump the water, which is basically close to 110,000 cubic meters a day. And we also have our ventilation systems running. So it's a managed care and maintenance. And we've got a crew of 300 people who are looking after that. Now, the total number of employees who are 1,100, every single one of their jobs has been preserved. Okay. So there isn't a single KCM employee that has been made jobless as a result of us putting Nchanga Underground on care and maintenance. However, we did have to cancel the contracts where we had outside help assisting us in there. So there has been an effect on the community. But even as I sit today, I'm sitting with our Vice President for Economic Development to see what areas we can actually accelerate in our portfolio of projects. I spent my whole career in the mining and energy sector, and it's clear that these industries are cyclical. And although things are difficult at the moment and we have had to close some operations, things will improve in the future. Of that, I'm confident. So hope, there are two things for me personally which do affect me. And the first one is any time that we have a fatal injury. Mm-hmm. And the second one is when we have to make a person unemployed. So it's at the top of my mind, and we're looking to see what we can do to try to assist the situation. But in the meantime, we do have to try to preserve the whole of KCM if we've got areas of the business which are bleeding cash.
All right. Well, Mr. Dean, it's been great having you on the show. Otherwise, as we wrap up, anything you would love to share, or maybe even just that special festive season message to the listeners?
Well, thank you, Hope. I mean, you're right. We're getting close to it. I just can't believe how the year has passed so quickly, but that's the way they go. Huh? So as a final message, just let me reassure all the listeners that KCM is here to stay. And as a company, we're very committed to our 50-year vision in Zambia. And we'll continue with growth projects and identify, additional resources to make sure that we've got enough base for our longer-term plans. So with that, I'd like to end, and then maybe my final message to you and to all of the listeners is to have a wonderful Christmas and a lovely New Year. And I hope that you have time to spend with your families, and all the best for 2016.
Lovely. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Dean. It's been a pleasure. And hopefully this program will resume next year for more interesting topics around KCM as well as mining. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. My pleasure.
All right. This has been 10 Minutes with KCM, and we were having a chat with KCM CEO, Mr. Stephen Din. Thanks a lot for your time. It's Hot 877 in Lusaka and surrounding areas, 97.3 if you are on the Copper Belt, and it's 89.1 Kapiri and surrounding areas.
With KCM. That was 5 Minutes with KCM. Join us again next week at the same time for a chance to know more about Konkola Copper Mines, Zambia's largest integrated copper producer. KCM is a subsidiary of Vedanta Resources PLC.